Hi, good morning everyone from Finland. This is now Harriet speaking from Karkkila again today, and thanks for joining our webinar. We have still people joining online, so let's wait for a minute or two. And if you have been listening to these Freedom Partner webinars before, this first around 10 minutes is a recap, so you have some more time to come back to us. But let's wait around 2 minutes and then we can begin. Thanks. Okay, I think we are ready to go now. So once again, thank you very much for joining our webinar today. Good morning from Finland. My name is Harriet Harsto. I'm from Luminar Components Marketing. And today I'm hosting this webinar with our Luminar Component Head of Sales, Tero Päärni. If you have been listening to this webinar series from Freedom Partners before, thank you very much for joining us again. If this is your first time, I'm very glad to have you on board. Today our topic is about Mymesh, which is a mesh technology from a company called Chess. And we will today take a trip to the Netherlands, where Mr. Wim Hogenholt and Han Bach will be waiting for us in their studio. So we will have some live feed from Haarlem today. In this webinar, you have a perfect, wonderful opportunity to ask questions from our Freedom specialist and of course from Chess guys. So please type your questions into a question box. You will find it from the control panel from your GoToWebinar tool. Today we will answer to those questions right away when they pop up when we are in the Mymesh studio. So we will have a nice interaction with you, and we will also tackle more questions in the end of the show. So if you have anything on your mind, please ask. The webinar is recorded once again, so if anything happens to your connection or you need to leave, don't worry, you will receive the recording afterwards by email, and we will put it online as well at helvar.com. Now we are ready to go. I see there are quite many people, new people on show. So I will first tell you a few words about Helvar before we go into today's topic. So we at Helvar are a family-owned technology company from Finland, and we were founded in 1921. So we are turning 100 years next year. We are very proud of it, and it's a great place for celebration. Our passion is to deliver solutions that enhance well-being and build in efficiency, and we do that through lighting and our digital services. And our business is basically built on two units. We have lighting intelligence, which covers our lighting control solutions, lighting control products and services. We have over 3,500 projects around the world. So we are very proud to say that we are on the top of the world and world leaders when it comes to lighting controls. In our lighting control solutions, we have quite many brands, of which I could say, for example, RoomSet, which is a new single room, easy to use solution. Then we have our headline router solution, Imagine, which can control enormous buildings, for example. And then, of course, the self-learning wireless solution, Active Ahead. I, on behalf, speak about luminaire components, and that's where we create the best-in-class LED drivers and modules in the world, of course. And we do that right here in Karkkila, where I sit today. We at Helvar, as said, are specialists in controls and dimming, so of course our drivers are available in very different control options, DALI to DALI, of course, tunable white, also some 1 to 10 volt drivers. And of course, like today's topic, we are now also offering drivers for wirelessly controlled luminaires. We also have non-dimmable and constant voltage drivers, and all our drivers, whether they're dimmable or non-dimmable, they are available in various power and current protection options and mechanics as well. So linears, compact drivers, and also mini drivers, for example. Here in Karkkila, we also manufacture LED modules, which are available for different needs. For example, tunable white, high flux, cost efficiency, and so forth. In 1949, we manufactured the very first Helvar ballast, and we started to do lighting controls in the 60s. So it's easy to say that we have over 70 years of lighting expertise, and being in the forefront of lighting technology is really a passion for us and a great driver. We currently have around 230 professionals in our competence centers and international sales teams around the world. But through our global partner network, we operate across over 40 countries. And our global partners are our extended Helvar family, and they really help us to reach our customers worldwide. So if you need to contact Helvar, please go to helvar.com and just find your closest representative over there. But now I will give turn to Tero Pärni, and Tero will now take us to the journey with freedom.
Good morning, everyone. Again, this morning, this time a little bit windy, but still very much sunny Salo, Finland. As Harry mentioned, I will again recap briefly the Freedom family, component family, and then we'll dig into deeper and give the floor to Jess. So the world truly is wireless. We believe in wireless future, open sources, ecosystems where standards don't limit your inspiration, and where lighting is just one loop in an endless mesh of connectivity. We believe in freedom of choice. And that's exactly why we created Freedom. We want to support our clients in transition from traditional lighting into the world of wireless. But which system actually to use? So instead of following just one standard, we give the possibility to choose one of many wireless systems or go with all of them. What if we could offer a possibility to choose? And that's exactly what we did. So what is the Freedom all about and how to create Freedom luminaires? Freedom is built on two basic components, the Freedom LED driver and the Freedom LED node, and you will need also the connecting cable between the two. Before having a working wireless luminaire, you will also need the lighting control system. Active Ahead, Helvar's own solution for wireless lighting control, but when talking about Freedom, we're giving you lots of freedom to choose from. Today, our Freedom family has grown to cover several lighting control options listed here: Casampi, Mount Kelvin, Ensto Workspaces, Wirepass, Mymesh by Chess in focus today, and Ingi. So now you're able to design your luminaire by picking the right Freedom driver for your LED light source, choose specific Freedom node, complete your luminaire design, and enjoy your wireless luminaires. So how does this then actually work? Simply clever. So we came up with a system that is truly optimized, specifically designed for wireless lighting control. The driver has a simple 3.3 volt power supply for the node, an easy UART communication. Inside we have the Helvar lighting control library open protocol, and as part of the Freedom, flexible implementation of new features to the system. So not limiting to any existing or upcoming standards, but wanted to give freedom to be creative and innovative, for example, which data can be harvested from the system. So let's have a little bit closer look on the actual components. So we have the Freedom LED drivers in compact and linear shape. We have the Freedom node. We have the connection cable. Today we can offer 15, 30, 45 centimeter tailor-made lengths up to 1.5 meters. The standard LED driver accessories, and complementing the offering with our LED modules. Freedom node. Freedom node is the intelligence of the system. It's also the antenna and the radio unit. It communicates with the Freedom LED driver, other Freedom nodes, or any supported devices in the mesh. Inside, we store specific Freedom compatible wireless lighting control software, one node, many options. It's designed and built small, but robust in size. And there's multiple ways to install it. So we designed the node's connectivity to be the best in the marketplace. The antenna is tested awesome. We have feedback from the test installations with connectivity through even thick brick walls from floor to floor, even if that's not necessary, just to show that the connectivity is there. So this is why we did not embed it inside the driver. You can place the node inside or outside your luminaire and ensure the best connectivity of your products. No weak signals, no design nightmares, no struggle, just freedom to connect. So that's about the radio node, and let's have a little bit closer look at our Freedom driver range today. As Harriet mentioned in the beginning, we have 70 years of experience in lighting. We're specialists in dimming, and we certainly know how to create world-class LED drivers to maximize the quality of LED light sources. Freedom LED drivers are powerful workhorses that keeps your LED modules operating at its finest and saving energy. So today we can present you an extensive SELF60 and especially our non-isolated LED driver portfolio of 8 drivers, covering up from 3 watt up to 110 watts with operating values from 9 volts to 350 volts and from 120 milliamps up to 1400 milliamps. All launch drivers are with Freedom Interface 1.5 supported, dimming ranges from 1 to 100% range, low ripple, and with external strain reliefs available if needed. And as part of the whole concept of Freedom, this is just the beginning. We're constantly working on new upcoming products and their launches are introduced later this year. So this in short recapping the Freedom family. And now let's give the floor to Jess. Welcome, guys.
Yes, thank you, Tero. I will now turn the presentation to the Netherlands. Let's see how it will turn out. Hi, how are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
So I will first introduce you. There is Wim over there and Han. Hi, good to see you. I will now put my microphone on mute and you are ready to go with your presentation. And everyone in the audience, please ask questions from Wim and Han. They will answer to you during their presentation. So we will get like very, very nice answers to your questions at any point. Thanks. Take care.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Harriet, and also Tero for your introduction. Welcome to Chess Wise in the Netherlands, and we're going to tell you more about Mymesh, and we're doing our best to explain in which situations Mymesh is the logical change, the logical choice for your projects. As you've heard from Harriet, Helvar is a family-owned business, already almost 100 years old. We are from Chesswise. We are only 30 years old, but still in this field of Internet of Things, a record we can be proud of. Family-owned, same from our place, so we feel very familiar with Helvar. The first contacts were from 2014 when we first met. We visited you in Finland, and you came to the Netherlands. We had dinner on the beach, which is something which is not possible at the moment, unfortunately. It's quite a challenge to introduce your new product and having this crisis at the same time. So it takes a lot of flexibility, and you're showing it flexibility, and well, we are doing the same at our place to make this a successful introduction. And this webinar is one of the things which will help to have the kickoff of this new product. Something more about chess. I already said the company started 30 years ago. We decided to develop this wireless network already 15 years ago. Not to control lights, but because we had the vision there will be more and more sensors in our world. These sensors has to be connected to a system, and there was simply no solution to do that with thousands of sensors at the same time. Obviously, wireless was the way to go, and there was no solution to connect all the sensors. So as tech guys as we are, we decided to do it on our own, and we started to do our first research on wireless communication 15 years ago, together with a lot of universities, international, and it was in 2014 that we decided to focus fully on this wireless communication. We didn't had a way to go exactly, but we thought we're going to start a few applications with real clients and see where that will bring us. And today we are in lighting, outdoor lighting, indoor lighting. That's the choice we made because the vision we developed in this early years in 2014 was easy and simple. Smart cities, smart buildings, smart industries. How can you deploy a network in these situations? You can do it when you use the lights as the source for your network. So that was the idea from 2014 after these first pilots, which were 3 of the 5 pilots were in lighting and in buildings and in cities. So it was rather easy to make this decision and go forward with the Mymesh network for lighting only. The network itself is something, well, you should experience it. You should have all these pitfalls before you really can say you're on top of wireless communication, before you really master it. So I think we can say we really understand wireless, and that's something else than just using it. Maybe Wim can tell us a little bit more about the wireless network itself.
Yeah. So let's start with Mymesh. So Mymesh is a wireless light control system and a smart building management. And in the previous slide, you saw 2 definitions of smart lighting and connected LED. And I think it's good to start the introduction there, because Mymesh also works as an autonomous, self-operating light control system. So basically, that's the start of smart lighting. Energy efficient LED lighting combined with wireless light control to the user's needs. So without cloud connection on small scale and on large scale. The second step, of course, is to connect your lighting to the cloud. We call that connected LED, and that so you will be able to interact your wireless network with a cloud management platform. So that's actually where we start Mymesh. So as Han already explained, lighting is just the beginning, and the way how we see lighting develop is from a traditional fixed installation to an adaptive installation, creating your adaptive smart building. And then we come to the 4 key characteristics of the Mymesh network, from left to right. Scalability. One of the important network features is the scalability. Mymesh is basically a distributed computer system, while the intelligence is in every device. And when you look at Helvar and Freedom, the intelligence will be in the Freedom node, as the Mymesh software will be running on the Freedom node. And we are able to connect any device with each other without a central computer like a modem, a gateway, a router, or whatever. So the intelligence is fully in the network itself, making it possible to scale up to thousands of devices in one network. Of course, not only the controllers like the Freedom node, but also the sensors and the switches, but I will explain that later. The second is, of course, security, and I think that's one for Han to explain something of the banking background of chess.
My pleasure. Security is something we are very familiar of, because we developed the security for chip cards for banking in the past. And there we learned security is not encryption. Encryption is something you should use, everybody is doing it, but the real security is in the process. What do I mean with that? Security starts when you are manufacturing your nodes. And maybe that's not something which is important at home, but when you are in a professional application, it's very, very important. Security starts at the manufacturer. That's where we put our keys in. The keys are secret, of course. They are located in the chip on a place you can't enter anymore. Even we can't. At that moment in time, every node is secured. You can't use them in a network if you don't have the right keys. So that's something which is very important. One other thing is you never can go back to factory settings. Once you are in a network, you are in that network, and you will never have a button to go back to factory settings, because if you allow that, your security is gone immediately. So we start at the manufacturing place, then of course during installations of software, everything is encrypted and secured. And then you have the phase where you have to install these nodes. There also security is very important, because what you don't want is having an installer and an engineering company which can choose nodes on his choice. No, you want to guarantee the nodes he's using, you are controlling. He's not controlling. As the owner, you are controlling these nodes. We finished this whole secured process from A to Z. So also the cloud system is ensured, secured, nobody can go into. And that's something we have to explain to our clients a lot, because IT departments often start this discussion with no way, we're not going to the cloud. And after explaining how we are doing this, I've never had a problem with the cloud afterwards. So it's really, well, it's something we are putting a lot of effort in. You will, as a user, we try to make it as easy as possible, because security will cost you something. It's a bit more complicated, but on the other end, when you have to explain to the public your lighting system was hacked, and because of that your whole company is down, I don't think that's something you want to experience. So well, maybe there are questions about security. Please ask them, and we will answer them during this webinar.
Yeah, this is what we call end-to-end security. Security during the full life cycle of your lighting system. If you want some more information on this security, on our website, chess.nl, in the download section, you can request white papers, both on the network protocol and both on security. So I will go to the third point, and that's what we call adaptive. Well, once moving to a wireless network, you introduce information technology in your lighting, making it the new IT infrastructure in your building. And of course, that comes with a lot of benefits, because also during the life cycle of your installation, you can update your software and extend the functionality of your network. Within our Mymesh solution, this is of course remotely possible via over-the-air full network updates. So you will be able to remotely update your full network with new functionality in the coming years. The last point is of course more or less in the network protocol itself. when you install your network devices and when you power up your installation, the network is immediately there. We call that ad hoc configuration of your network. What also is very important is that we have a multitasking network, meaning that it's a full sensor and control network in one. So basically, it's a wireless building automation system. So if something happens in the network, for example, you have a power failure in a specific section, all the nodes which are still powered will reroute the communication and will self-heal the communication within the network. Very important features to keep your network fully operational.
Yeah, maybe one thing to add on this multitasking network. It also means you can do your software updates during full operation of the network. So everything will go on, your controls, your monitoring, and also your software updates or whatever you're doing, it's all executed at the same time. You don't have to bother about this as a user or an engineering company. So one of the questions from the field is there a single point of failure? And the answer is no. It's the typical mesh topology, which makes there's no single point of failure. But of course, there are also always some more technical remarks on this general statement, because you have to create a solid network, which means every node needs a few neighbors. And when that's the case, you don't have a single point of failure. Then the other thing is the gateway to the cloud. The gateway is just another node, so it's a part of the network and will have more than one neighbor, so that part is covered. But when you have only one gateway, of course, you might call that a single point of failure. And then it's good to know in our network, you can add as many gateways as you want without any configuration. So you just add a gateway, the recognize will recognize the gateway, and well, that's automatically connected to the cloud, of course, with all the security around it. And in general, we have a kind of rule, if you're controlling from outside with your gateway, you can control 10,000 nodes with one gateway. If you're also monitoring, it depends on the number of data you want to get out and the speed you need. And that's something you can calculate how many gateways you need. In general, we say 1 to 500, but if you are using less data, if you don't need so much data, it can be more. And then you can recognize it as a kind of bath tube. If you have one pipe going out, it will take 1 minute. If you have another exit, the bath will be empty in 30 seconds. So we support our clients in making this kind of architectural network choices.
Okay, next slide, please.
Thank you. Sorry, guys. Just can you hear me? It's Harriet here. So there is one question. One question from another Wim is that can we connect more drivers to one BLC unit?
You should answer that way.
Yeah, yeah, that's an interesting question, and I will explain if you can connect one or more drivers to one single node by explaining how to install Mymesh. So what you see over here is in this simple installation overview is if you want to add Mymesh to your network, of course, the first step is to use a Mymesh Freedom node to your Helvar driver. And our basic philosophy is that you connect one driver to one node, because that makes it possible to identify and manage, also from monitoring, from device status perspective, each luminaire individual, both on the status of the luminaire and both on the position of the luminaire, which can be very important for future developments like indoor navigation and track and trace possibilities. But that's for later on in this explanation. However, there is one exception. If you have a luminaire with 2 drivers, which can be a high power, high bay luminaire, for example, or which can be a combined general lighting luminaire combined with an emergency luminaire, you will also have a mains driver and automated self-testing emergency driver. In those specific kind of examples, you can use the Mymesh node to control and also to monitor 2 types of drivers in one luminaire. So basically, that's also the answer to the question. So the first step, of course, is to add a Mymesh node, of course, specifically the Freedom and Mymesh product to your luminaire. The second step is that you add sensors and switches. And of course, there's still developments going on to add also a PIR motion sensor to the Freedom node. So you will have a 2-in-1 product, both control, monitor, and sensor solution. Or of course, that can be a separate multi-sensor or a remote switch from our own chess product suite, which you can also find in our catalog online. So basically, with these 2 products, so both the controllers and the sensors, you create your light control system. And basically, that's all you need. So with only a Freedom node and a sensor, you can create your network. Then the third step is that using our commissioning tooling, being a Bluetooth gateway and the Mymesh commissioning app for iPad, you will have the tooling to program your full network, to create the full light control behavior you want into the Mymesh network. And once you've done with creating your groups, setting the light control behavior, the light levels, the different kind of functions you want, from dimming, scenes, all kinds of master control, daylight harvesting, well, all the familiar light control functionality you're used to, actually then you're done, and then you have your full Mymesh network. And basically it will look like this, as you see on the picture. You will have your luminaires, you will have your sensors and your switches, and of course then we come. So this is what we call smart lighting, a self-operating light control system.
It's focusing on easiness. It's focusing on installing as much as lights as possible in projects. So the engineering company shouldn't bother about he is creating a wireless network. Most of it is going automatic, and then you use the app to create all the settings. Yep. Today you have to do that on site, and the next step will be you only place this luminaires on a grid, and this grid is very important for indoor navigation functionality. So that's something you have to do on site, and then from your back office you can do all these other settings for peer sensors, for groups, for zones, and things like that.
So then you see on the right side, there you see our Ethernet gateway. So please, next slide. And once you have connected an Ethernet gateway, you are connected to all our cloud services of the Mymesh management system. Han already explained that depending on the size of your network, and what kind of data you want to log to the management system, you need one or more Ethernet gateway for offloading the data to the Mymesh management system. So, of course, when you come to the Mymesh management system, yeah, you get a very broad opportunities for developing your smart building. And I think it's good that I explain. I saw this question coming. What kind of features does the management system offer? I think that's the question that's coming up. So I will explain. Of course, we use the data coming from the node, coming from the driver for the management system. And the first thing we do is we do a floor plan integration in the management system. So you will be able to see your building, your floor plans, the locations of the luminaires in your building. And second step, of course, is that we will support you with energy consumption reporting. Depending on the type of driver you're using, it will be measured or it will be calculated based on burning hours, light levels. We call that weighting burning hours, in combination with the maximum power output and the idle power output of your driver. So you will have a full overview of your energy consumption of your building, of your floors, of your rooms, of your nodes. And of course, the very big advantage of the floor plan integration is that when we report the status of the devices, you can easily see where you have failures within your building, because we will report driver failure, lamp failure, and specifically when we speak about emergency lighting, and when you have integrated emergency lighting in your Mymesh system, we will also publish the results of function test and duration tests, and will create the emergency reports for you. Separately, you will see the emergency status, emergency burning time, battery charge level, all kinds of data which is coming from the emergency drivers.
Yeah, so a full integrated back office platform.
Yeah.
We can go on with that maybe later on. I like to answer a question which is asked, I don't know by who, but it's interesting. Why should someone take the Mymesh enabled Helvar node instead of one of the other enablers? Yeah, I think to keep it very, very simple, if your client is asking for a secured, really secured system, there's only one choice, that's Mymesh, as far as I know. And that's really a topic which is more and more important. And then the other thing is, we are the designers of Mymesh. We are the designers of the lighting application. So it's really integrated. And if you have specific questions, we have the possibility to create this functionality for you. So it's not just the catalog and that's it. No, we for us it's possible to listen to your specific questions and see how we can implement it in our Mymesh system. And then, of course, everybody will benefit it. But the line is very, very short to our technical guys and our roadmap. So that's something which is an advantage too. And then, yeah, of course, this 15 years of taking the time to build this system is something you won't get at any startup in the field. That has nothing to do with the other partners of Helvar, but it's something we are very proud of and which you can benefit of. So another question is about
Thank
the
you.
frequency of Mymesh. Is that what you want to ask, Harriet? No.
Yes, actually, I had one question coming.
Well, to answer
Sorry,
that
I think it's coming with a little delay.
Yeah, we have, in general, our network protocol is radio agnostic, which means it works on every radio you should use, if you could use. And today, we deployed it on the 2.4 gigahertz radio for indoor and the 868 megahertz radio for outdoor. The Helvar node is based on the 2.4 gigahertz radio. Using this node, it's based on 2.4 gigahertz. Maybe you take the next question.
Yeah, and also the next question is what is the maximum distance between the devices? Of course, this is influenced by the radio frequency we're using. We're using the 2.4 gigahertz. Of course, it's very important, like Tero already explained, on positioning of the Freedom node in or out the luminaire. But as an average, we say that the distance or the reach of the device is somewhere between 20 and 40 meters when used inside a building. Of course, if you have line of sight between nodes, that distance will be bigger, but we see 20 to 40 meters as an average for the distance between the devices.
Yeah, and then often clients ask us to really measure the distance, which is realized with the combination of the luminaire and the node inside. So that's something we can do. We have a professional measurement equipment ready for radios, and then we can deliver a report which shows the 360 degrees radiation of the node.
Yeah, I think that it's good to know we have a big installed base with, yeah, the last figures are over 110,000 Mymesh nodes installed in the field in hundreds of buildings and cities for both indoor, outdoor, and industrial applications. Yeah. And of course, we can look into those networks and see how many neighbors a node actually has. And our experience is that nodes do not have a few neighbors, but actually always a lot. So dozens. So showing that it's a really strong network and that there are a lot of communication routes within good installed Mymesh networks.
And by the way, if you look from a radio perspective, it's more difficult to have many nodes, like 100 or 200, which is also happening in the field in a small area, than have 10 or 12 radio nodes as your neighbors. Yeah. So, well, that's something more in detail. We have a question about how we think about yearly fees. Well, in general, we have a product sales and we have also a subscription model, but I think it's not for today to explore that. So if you have specific questions, please ask them on email or another way of the website you can use to reach us, and we will of course be happy to inform you.
Yeah. Okay, so I think let's move on to the functionality of the Mymesh management system. I still have some points more to explain because we do not only report and log the device status of the Freedom node, but also we get a lot of data from the sensors. Of course, the light sensor, the motion sensor, which enables us to also log and report occupancy. Basically, the heat map, the activity level within your building. And together with one of our other eco partners, we can also deliver an indoor climate sensor for measuring CO2 temperature and relative humidity. So we are also able to report device status and sensor data on indoor climate occupancy and light levels, which specifically when we go to light levels, this is of course very interesting for a completely different application, which is horticulture. Next to the monitoring application, we also have a cloud controlled calendar control application. So you can have your light recipes within your building, for example, circadian light rhythms, when you use tunable white or RGBW. So on your screen, you see now an overview of actually the Mymesh management portal. If you have a registration, if you're an authorized user, you will see the overview of your installations on the left. What kind of subscriptions you have on remote calendar control, on monitoring applications, and from there on you can enter your building and go to your specific location. So
yeah. Maybe in between a question from Axel about the security. He's asking if he has to enter a code or scan something. Well, in fact, what is happening during the commissioning process is you're moving the nodes on the grid in your building, and that's the moment we are using to change this security keys from factory settings to client settings. And also these factory settings are personal, but you don't have to enter a code yourself. Everything is going underneath and you don't see it, but there's really happening a lot below sea level to keep this secret keys secret.
Yeah. Okay, next slide, please. So I already explained something of emergency lighting because we offer an integrated solution for both general lighting and emergency lighting, operating in the same network. Next one, please. So I think it's good to explain that with the over 110,000 devices installed, we have a large list of large-scale applications, both for indoor and outdoor. Our largest single network, so all devices communicating in one network, is 5,500 in the city of Stadskanaal in the north of the Netherlands, also known as the darkest city. Of course, because we control the lights with the correct calendar dim function, we can control a whole city. So that's an outdoor application. On the indoor applications, we're currently rolling out one of the biggest applications in London, in Bluewater Shopping Centre. It's a land securities site in back of house and in parking, with already over 4,000 luminaires installed. And these are just a few examples of our connected LED sites. In this overview of locations, you also see that, especially when you look at the police or Heineken or Van der Lande, we had to do some thorough security assessments before we were allowed to install our Mymesh suite. So, as far as I know, this is our last slide.
Yeah, maybe it's good to mention it's the backbone for smart buildings as well. Yeah. We didn't talk a lot about are we open? Yes, we are open at the borders. So we are at a higher level. We connect to building control systems. with our API, and at the lower level we connect to sensors, and the data coming out of these sensors, of course, will be routed to the back office via our network. And that's typically what you want to create a smart building together with other applications, which are HVAC, for instance, but also fire alarm system, your system at the beginning to toegangscontrole. Entrance control. Thank you, Wim. And there are many other systems in your building, all working together, and they can use our network to communicate with the data available from sensors and the data you can use to optimize and control your systems.
Yeah. So we have a new question. Is Mymesh being used for big networks? What is the minimum amount of lights? I think you have understood well that we focus on the large scale applications for adaptive secure networks. Of course, the minimum to create a network is 2. So Mymesh also works with 2 nodes. For our partners, we have a demo suitcase available, which actually contains only 5 nodes and is enough to show the full functionality of our network. And of course, we also have a lot of the smaller networks. So on smaller, we say less than 200. So actually, there's no minimum to or maximum.
Yeah. So maybe there are more questions. If you have them afterwards, you can always send them to us via Helvar or directly to sales@chess.nl, which is the best way to communicate with our commercial guys. But we will also forward your questions if they are technical to our technical guys.
Yeah. On our website, you can also find a request form, and our digital sales assistant Julia will guide you through our website.
Yeah, and maybe we didn't mention, but we are with 20 guys here working every day to the Mymesh network, and the majority of them are, of course, software colleagues. And there's a second question from Julia. Is there any relay unit to manage Wim?
Yes, when you look at our product suite, of course you see a full suite of controllers for DALI, for Freedom, for 0 to 10 volt, for 1 to 10 volt, and we also offer a wireless controllable relay module, so a Mymesh relay to switch up to 10 amps.
Yeah, so you can also switch off your coffee machines who are really using a lot of energy during the night without any use.
Yeah. What also is very interesting is if you want to connect your Mymesh network to your own building automation solution, we also offer simple integration via a digital input module or a digital output module to directly connect to your actuator switches of your building automation system.
Maybe Harriet, do you have any questions on your side?
Yes, I actually have. Thank you for so much, and we are a little running out of time, but please stay on the line if you're interested to hear. There was a question coming through from our Skype actually, asking about the security you are saying in your system. Are there some standards or legal requirements, for example, government offices or something like that, where this chess system can pass, but other wireless systems may not? So are there regulations in this kind of wireless communication in at least some countries or some
Yeah, actually there are a few of security certification standards. Of course, those differ per country. And currently we are investigating what kind of certification we can choose to certify our Mymesh security system. So it will be easier able for third parties to assess our Mymesh system.
Okay, thank you. And there's another question about personal lighting control, so desktop control. If chess system is installed to Office, how the user can adjust the lighting on his or her desk? Is this done with a mobile phone app or a switch or a panel?
So, well, basically there are a few options for manual control. The easiest way is to use a remote switch. So basically that's our 3-button control panel, which you can install in your room, and you can assign it to use it as a dim switch, as a scene switch. We are also currently working on a fully secured direct light control application that will be added to the Mymesh management system. So there will be no direct access from your phone to the luminaires in your room. We find that a not safe solution. So for the development of the direct light control application, that will also be a cloud solution, which is currently under development.
Great, thank you. I think we have now gone through all the questions for now, and as Han and Wim said, if you have any more questions, please contact their through the website chess.nl and find the closest contact from there. Now I really want to thank you so much, guys, for this opportunity, especially that security aspect was something really to think about. We've all seen that in movies, but it's in real life, that's a scary thought of having all the lights shut down from your building. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for listening to us today. So helvar.com, chess.nl are the websites you can find us and find the Chesswise guys.
Thank you very much.
Tomorrow we will finalize. Yes, thank you guys. And tomorrow we will finalize the series with another mesh technology company called Wirepass. And join us the same time, 10 a.m. CET, to hear about their solution. And now goodbye Netherlands, and goodbye everyone else in the world listening to us today, and hopefully I hear you soon tomorrow. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.